Hello and welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. What is playing in the background there? Hang on. Oh, you know what I did? I committed the cardinal sin. I have got my own
Hello and
video
welcome back,
playing in the background. How did I do that, guys? Man, I've not made that mistake in a long, long time. Sorry about that. We're back. We're back. Today we are talking about the murder of Eric Richins, 39 years old, died on March 4th, 2022. Prosecutors say it was at the hands of his wife, who is pictured with him there, KOURI Richins. Here is a picture of KOURI in one of her many court appearances. And the reason that we are gathered here today for this little chat is because yesterday, through ABC News and NBC News, so far I've seen it reported in a lot of different places, but through those two media outlets, at least, KOURI Richins released a statement, a recording of her speaking. And if you are a member of the Fish Tank, you probably have seen this already. If you're not a member of the Fish Tank, let me go over there real quick. You can always do it from my website. Click on this little fish. It'll take you to the Fish Tank. And I shared earlier today this video that has the audio that we're going to listen to. Okay, so if you are not a member of the Fish Tank and you're on Facebook, head over there and just search the Fish Tank, Fans of Gavin Fish, and you will find that. Okay, so we are going to first listen to the audio, and then we're going to see if we can take that apart a little bit and maybe dive into a couple documents that might tell us a little bit more. And before we really dig into that, I want to let you guys know that on the live stream, you don't have to do this afterwards if you're on Replay Crew, but on the live stream, it really helps me to find the comments that you guys want me to read. If you want to get my attention, just put GF in the comments, and that will help me to find those in my little filter system here, okay? All right, so why don't we stop bearing the lead, Gavin, and we will head over to this video, which we will watch together. Here we go. Make sure I've got everything.
To be able to speak out for the first time is terrifying, but is much needed. The world has yet to hear who I really am, what I've really done, or what I really didn't do. The world hasn't heard the real facts of the case. The media's twisted and turned what they think they know or what will sell or get the most views. And it's time to begin some serious damage control. Who I really am, and all that matters, is a wife of Eric Richins and a mom to 3 beautiful boys. What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband. I could not and would not ever do that to Eric, or anyone for that matter. I'm asking the world to give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove it to you. Let me show you the facts. Let me show you the evidence. I will not give up. I will not give in. Please, just give me a chance. I'm anxious. I'm anxious to prove my innocence. I'm anxious to get to trial. And I'm ready to get this one heck of a fight. You took an innocent mom away from her babies. I've been silent for a year, ripped away from my kids, my family, my life, living with the media, telling the world who they think I am, what they think I've done, or how they think I've lived. And it's time to start speaking up.
Okay, I had to mute myself there so we didn't have any echo. Hopefully the audio is working well here. But I think that deserves another listen, but there are a couple things that I heard that I want us to pay close attention to. Number one, she says, I never would have murdered Eric. I never could have done that. What I did is protect him at all costs. Never would have murdered him. The second thing, and maybe I'm just a little sensitive to it, is she's blaming the media for a narrative that is out there, and she wants the opportunity. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks. I see your audio's good. Thanks, Jamie. She wants to be able to prove her innocence, and she wants us to give her that chance. Now, were I in her predicament, I think I probably wouldn't worry so much about what the public is thinking as much as just focusing on the legal battle at hand. It reminds me, and maybe I'm off base and you guys can reel me back in, but this kind of has the whiff of Jodi Arias a little bit. Like, she wants the attention. She wants to put it out there. Now, giving her the benefit of the doubt and maybe playing devil's advocate, she was arrested in May of 2023. It has been just over a year that she has been in jail, and she has yet to have her preliminary hearing. She's never been officially, like, the preliminary hearing is one of those things. Well, let's see. The arraignment is where they would read her charges. The preliminary hearing, though, is the hearing where the prosecution would be establishing whether there's enough probable cause to proceed to trial. A year into this, and she's still not there. Holly says, Gavin, hoping you touch on her counsel bailing on her. No specifics were given beyond that vague reason in the docs. So there's not much to touch on, though. On a report on ABC News this morning, they said that the audio goes on to talk about why her counsel bailed on her, and that it was something out of their control. But who knows if that is the case. To me, it kind of smelled like she ran out of money. That's what it smelled like to me, right? Because lawyers like to get paid. It's actually, do you guys remember, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I'm actually going to bring you here. I'm going to take you over to my website real quick. Go to cases. And then I've got, out of all the cases listed on here, I've got a few pets, ones that are very, very important to me. David Elmquist is important. Shelby Thornburg is important. Sarah Matthews, I refuse to call her Sarah Matthews Easton, though that really is her name, is important. Amanda is important, and Ellen is important. Let me just click on Ellen here and scroll way down to the bottom. Let's see, close to the bottom here. Right here is a letter from the attorney representing the Schwartzmans and a Goldberg, Richard Goldberg, demanding that I apologize and saying that I have committed all sorts of slander against them. Okay, so I contacted my attorney who helps me in a lot of different matters, and he went, no, I don't specialize in this. Let's get you to another attorney. Do you know what that attorney's first question was? How are you going to pay me? That is the very first question. And honestly, like the 3 times in my life where I've needed an attorney, that's always in the first like minute or two of the conversation. Okay, yeah, I can do this for you. How are you going to pay me? Right? In the case of KOURI Richins, I think she had stuff that a lawyer could put a lien on, property, those sorts of things in the beginning. But then as there began to be disputes with KOURI and her late husband's family, that dried up. So I caught the whiff of there being a money issue. That's what I think it is. The other reason that I say that, Holly, is that they asked for, when her attorneys withdrew, they asked for the court to appoint new counsel. That to me is an indication of indigence, which will mean a public defender. That is my guess. But anyway, getting back to this audio that we just listened to, I want to listen to it one more time. What is it? 1.5 minutes long. Remember the 2 things that I talked about, and then I want to hear in the comments as we move along throughout the video the things that stick out to you. Okay. The two things that stick out to me is I would never do this to Eric. I would protect him at all costs. And of course, my response to that is, well, you're a really bad protector. He is dead, having overdosed on some many multiples of the amount of fentanyl that would have killed him. He overdosed on that. So you failed there. And number two, she characterized the media as the person who is causing all of her misfortune. So let's take one more listen. I'm going to mute my mic so we don't echo. Let's try this one more time. Here we go.
To be able to speak out for the first time is terrifying, but is much needed. The world has yet to hear who I really am, what I've really done, or what I really didn't do. The world hasn't heard the real facts of the case. The media's twisted turned what they think they know or what will sell or get the most views.
The people haven't heard the facts of this case. The media has twisted it in order to get more views. That's her allegation.
It's time to begin some serious damage control. Who I really am, and all that matters, is a wife of Eric Richins and a mom to 3 beautiful boys. What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband. I could not and would not ever do that to Eric, or anyone for that matter. I'm asking the world to give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove it to you. Let me show you the facts. Let me show you the evidence. I will not give.
She wants the opportunity to show the public the facts and the evidence. This to me is one of those things where it's like you are thinking about the wrong thing here, lady. Now, I recognize you were in jail. You have nothing to do all day but think about your case, but you are focused on the wrong opponent. Your opponent is the state of Utah. That is who you should be working to be able to battle. You need to show them the facts of the case to convince them that you are innocent of these charges.
I will not give in. Please, just give me a chance. I'm anxious. I'm anxious to prove my innocence. I'm anxious to get to trial. And I'm ready to get this one heck of a fight. You took an innocent mom away from her babies. I've been silent for a year, ripped away from my kids, my family, my life, living with the media, telling the world.
Oh, she's been silent for a year for her children and her family? Is that what she said? Like, I've been silent because I want to protect my family. I'm not sure I'm buying that.
They think I am, what they think I've done, or how they think I've lived. And it's time to start speaking up.
The other part of that, and this one is one that I am not all that anxious to bring up, but that very last thing, talking about the public, how they think I've lived. You guys know that I am from the state of Utah, and originally I was born in Salt Lake City and moved to California when I was 8, but all my family's back there. My grandparents were there, born and raised in Summit County where this is taking place. I think that she is probably feeling the pressure of being in Utah and being surrounded by members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? All the Mormons around her. She uses words like heck, and then she says things like, I don't want you to prejudge the way I've lived. Well, the facts of the case are the whole Moscow Mule thing, right? That's going to be looked down upon by members of the church out there for sure, especially in Summit County. Holy cow. It doesn't really matter, but that's just one of those little things where I'm like, she's feeling the pressure of being against the state of Utah and not feeling like she's going to be able to maybe get a fair trial in the state of Utah. Maybe that is part of it. All right. But now that she's accused us of twisting facts, what I want to do is go to the allegations. Okay. There are 2 documents that I prepared to show you guys today. I think I'm just going to show one of them because they basically contain the same thing. One is from the 9th, which is the search warrant affidavit to search a Samsung phone, but it has an affidavit which kind of tells everything, the reason for the probable cause. But the other document is the complaint. So in Utah, they call it the information. So this is the amended information. Now I'm kind of nervous that I don't have the right version of it. It may have been amended by now, but it's okay. For the purpose of our conversation, let's just read this one, okay? She's charged with criminal homicide, aggravated murder, possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, possession of a controlled 2 counts of that. Fourth count is possession and use of a controlled substance. Okay. So let's just, I don't think we're spinning anything here. That's all I'm saying. I don't think we're spinning anything here. I think we are reporting the facts. Now, are we doing it for the purpose of getting views? Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we do. That we earn our living by people reading our content, watching our content, listening to our content. But I have to say, I'm kind of sick of being, as a member of the media and as a YouTuber, and I don't mean to be precious here, guys, but I am a little sick of being told that the only reason that I do what I do is because I get paid to do it, and therefore I will say anything. I know none of you guys have accused me of that, but that's basically what she's saying in here, and a lot of my comments are like that too on the channel. Listen, everybody involved in every criminal everything, including the criminals, usually do it because they're getting paid. The police officers who make the arrest, the prosecutors who prosecute the crime, the investigators who investigate it, the defense lawyers who defend the defendant, the judge, the bailiffs, the court reporters, the court clerks, the everybody only do what we do because we're getting paid to do it. Otherwise, there's no line of people lining up to be a voluntary court clerk. They do it because they're paid to do it. That's one of their incentives, right? So I just don't buy what it is her argument is saying. But okay, let's get into this. It's been 2 years, a little over 2 years since the incident happened, because it was March 4th that Eric died. Okay, so March 4th, 2022 at 3:31 a.m., Summit County Sheriff's deputies and EMS staff responded to the Richins home on the report of an unresponsive male. When they arrived, they found Eric Richins on the floor at the foot of his bed. Life-saving measures were attempted, but Eric was declared deceased. Eric Richins and his wife, defendant KOURI Richins, had a premarital agreement. I'm not sure what that UAD stands for. Somebody in the comments let me know what that means, the UAD. Upon, I don't know, something death, I don't know. June 15th, 2013, establishing that each did not have rights to one another's present or future income, property, or assets. That each did not, except if Eric Richins died while the two were lawfully married, Eric Richins' partnership interest in the business would transfer to the defendant. Among Eric Richins' premarital property is his Camas home located at 282 Willow Court in Summit County. Man, I would really love to see where exactly that is because I can't think of it right now. Let me just go to maps. 282 Willow Court. That looks like it's actually in Francis. Is that what it says? Willow Court, Summit County. All right. Yeah, I gotcha. So let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. So they are in a subdivision that did not exist. I'm such an old guy. Did not exist when I was a kid, right? Because Francis was basically That intersection right there was Francis when I was a kid. So no, they are not in Camas. They are over in Francis. Got it. Okay. If you want to see where I'm from, we will scooch on up here, hang a left down there in Oakley, and there we come to my hometown right there. That is where I was raised. In fact, we are looking at my grandparents' house right there. Anyway, yeah, I digress. Okay, so the Camas home is what they called it, though it was in Francis. All right. In September 2020, Eric Richins discovered that the defendant had obtained and spent a $250,000 home equity line of credit on the Camas home, withdrawn at least $100,000 from his bank accounts, and spent in excess of $30,000 on his credit cards. The defendant had also been appropriating distributions made from Eric Richins' business for the purpose of making federal and state quarterly tax payments and not paying the taxes. The stolen tax payments totaled at least $134,000. This is not a little money, everyone. This is a lot. Eric Richins confronted the defendant, and she agreed to repay him. I have to say, though, this is kind of an unhealthy partnership. Like, I'm seeing red flags here from the very beginning. You know, my wife and I have been married almost 25 years. In November, it'll be 25 years. I'm sorry, I get on these sidetracks all the time. When we met and started dating and got engaged, my future wife at the time had no debt, had lots of savings, lots for young kids. I mean, we were in our early 20s. We were 23. And had a car that she was driving that she paid cash for, all that stuff. I had a brand new truck that I had financed and was paying on. It was probably a debt of $18,000 or $19,000, I guess. I had a tax liability of like $10,000, and I think maybe I had credit card debt of maybe a couple $1,000s. She insisted that all of that be cleared up before we could tie the knot. Because she knew that when we got married, we were going to be combining everything, right? She was wise beyond her years even back then. I'm looking at this, the premarital agreement and all that stuff, and she's grabbing money, like large amounts of money. And, when you're talking real estate, these aren't huge amounts of money. But, I mean, when you're talking just money, these are big amounts of money, right? Okay, so she was going to repay him let's see. The defendant had obtained and spent $250,000 plus another 100, so we're at 350, plus 30, we're at 380, and then another 134, so we're at 485, 14. So we're $500,000 here. Oof. Okay, she agreed to pay him back $500,000. All right. In October 2020, Eric Richins consulted both a divorce lawyer and an estate planning lawyer. Unknown to the defendant, Eric Richins proceeded to change his will, formed the Eric Richins Living Trust November 3rd, 2020, and placed his estate under the control of his sister, Katie Richins Benson, for the primary benefit of his 3 minor children. Yeah, I mean, I would say that if your wife ran up over 500 gur, 130 of it was something that I now owe the government. Yeah, I would not blame him for consulting a divorce lawyer. They're having issues. Okay, Eric Richins transferred his partnership interest in the business to his trust and designated the trust as the beneficiary of his $500,000 life insurance policy instead of the defendant. Of course, the defendant did not know this. Unknown to Eric Richins, Between 2015 and 2017, the defendant purchased at least 4 life insurance policies on Eric Richins' life with aggregate death benefits of $1.9 million. These policies had been purchased prior to the date that Eric Richins formed the trust. Eric Richins did not disclose these to his estate planning attorney on October 2020 because he did not know about them. Eric Richins and his business partner each had life insurance policies with the other as the beneficiary. On January 1 of that year, the defendant surreptitiously and without authorization changed the beneficiary for Eric Richins' $2 million life insurance policy to herself. This came to the attention of New York Life and Eric Richins and the business partner. Oh, and the business partner was restored as beneficiary. Okay. Oh my goodness. In late January 2022, the defendant caused an application to be filed for a new $100,000 life insurance policy on Eric Richins' life. She is stacking this up. This policy issued on February 4th, 1 month prior to Eric Richins' death. A week later, on February 11th or 12th, the defendant obtained illicit fentanyl from an acquaintance, CL. CL stated that sometime in early 22, before Eric Richins' death, the defendant either called, you know what, we're not even going to go through this. She got fentanyl, okay? And she got like enough fentanyl to take down an army of elephants. It was so much fentanyl. All right. Let's see. She gave him a sandwich. He thought that she was trying to poison him, so forth. So she then goes, gets more, right? Okay, she wants more. Okay. Prior to March 1, 2022, the defendant's outstanding state and federal tax liability was $189,000. The defendant owed a hard money lender at least $1.8 million. Do you guys know what hard money is? Hard money is like loan sharking. I mean, they're not all loan sharks. They're not like Shylocks, right? If you don't give me the $100,000 back, whatever. I torture you. No, it's not that. I've had hard money loans in order to do real estate transactions. They're short-term loans. Usually, like the ones that I've done are like 6 months or less, right? So she owes hard money lenders $1.8 million. The defendant owed Richins at least $514,000 on March 3rd. Wow. Okay, so we've got basically $2 million in debt here. We'll call it 2.5. Okay, on March 3rd, 2022, the defendant had a lengthy telephone call with the IRS and talked to her hard money lender. During interviews with the defendant, she stated that around 2100 hours on March 3, she and Eric Richins were celebrating the defendant's closing on a house for her business. Defendant stated, man, look, guys, hey, Uncle Gavin here. It's your Uncle Gavin, all right? Listen. I know this from really personal and difficult experience, all right? If you are in debt, $2.5 million, and you want to get out of that debt, you're doing it in real estate, okay? You're $2.5 million under. The last thing you should do is grab another loan. Don't close on another house. Don't get in deeper debt. Don't do that. I made that mistake, guys. I made that mistake a long time ago when I was young and stupid. But anyway, okay, so she's celebrating the fact that she's now in deeper debt, has a new house for her business. Defendant stated that she made Eric a Moscow Mule in the kitchen, which I have since learned is an adult beverage, and brought it to their bedroom, where Eric consumed it while sitting in bed. The only people in the house were defendant, Eric, and their 3 minor children. You know what? Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you guys this. You know what really kind of upsets me is that she would do this she would have that much fentanyl around with her 3 children in the home. That could kill them so quick. Okay, Defendant stated she went to bed and shortly after went to sleep with one of the children in the child's bedroom because the child was having a night terror. Defendant said she awoke around 3 a.m., came back to her in Eric Richins' bedroom. She said she felt Eric Richins and he was cold to the touch. Again, this is suspicious. Guys, how many of you are married or in a devoted relationship? Dude, if my wife comes into bed at 3 o'clock and touches me and wakes me up, I'm going to be mad. And I wouldn't do that to her. That bull crap, she came in at 3 a.m. and touched him and he felt cold. Okay, defendant said she called 911. This was at 3:22. Law enforcement, she told law enforcement that when she left her room to go to her child's room, she left her phone plugged in next to her, did not take it to the child's room. However, between when the defendant said she went to the child's room and when she called 911, the status on her phone shows that it was locked and unlocked multiple times. There was also movement recorded on the phone. In addition, tolls and phone billing data for defendant's phone show that messages were sent and received during that time. Okay, March 6th. The defendant arranged for a locksmith to drill Eric Richins' safe, which contained between $125,000 and $165,000 in cash. When Eric Richins' sister, you know what my safe contains, guys? Like my passport, my children's birth certificates. Okay, anyway, when Eric Richins' sister suggested that the defendant did not have the authority to open Eric Richins' safe because there was a trustee, the defendant became enraged and punched Eric Richins' sister in the face and neck. Sheriff's deputies responded and called Eric Richins' estate planning lawyer from the scene. Here, the defendant learned for the first time of the existence of the Eric Richins Living Trust. Phone records show that on March 9th, we've got a whole bunch of stuff from the drug dealer. All right, following an autopsy and pursuant to toxicology findings from the autopsy, it was determined in April 2022 that Eric Richins died from an overdose of fentanyl. The medical examiner indicated the level of fentanyl in Eric Richins' system was approximately 5 times the lethal dosage. The OME stated the fentanyl that Eric Richins' system was illicit fentanyl, not medical grade fentanyl. It is also the opinion of the medical examiner, after evaluating Eric Richins' gastric fluid contents, that the fentanyl in Eric Richins' body was ingested orally. Man, talk about a dangerous, dangerous autopsy. Okay, so we've gone through the facts. I want to go back to the chutzpah of KOURI Richins. Let's go back to it. We're going to back it on up and we're going to start it again. Let's have a listen one more time.
To be able to speak out for the first time is terrifying, but is much needed. The world has yet to hear who I really am, what I've really done, or what I really didn't do. The world hasn't heard the real facts of the case. The media's twisted and turned what they think they know or what will sell or get the most views. And it's time to begin some serious damage control. Who I really am, and all that matters, is a wife of Eric Richins and a mom to 3 beautiful boys. What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband. I could not and would not ever do that to Eric, or anyone for that matter. I'm asking the world to give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove it to you. Let me show you the facts. Let me show you the evidence. I will not give up. I will not give in. Please, just give me a chance. I'm anxious. I'm anxious to prove my innocence. I'm anxious to get to trial. And I'm ready to get this one heck of a fight. You took an innocent mom away from her babies. I've been silent for a year, ripped away from my kids, my family, my life, living with the media, telling the world who they think I am, what they think I've done, or how they think I've lived. And it's time to start speaking up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy anything that she is saying at all. I just don't. Jamie, the UAD means under agreement dated. Thank you for teaching me that. Okay, Big Mountain Customs says, GF. Big Mountain Customs. I'm curious where you are located. Where is that big mountain of yours, Big Mountain Customs? Okay, so it sounds like she was planning to give him an OD. Yeah, she attempted it once. Get the money, get to Easy Street, but she got the old go directly to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $300 or $200 spiel. Yes, Big Mountain Customs, that is what happened. Holly says, it kind of sounds like she intends to represent herself, saying she will prove, etc. Oh man, well, I think she has proven that she is not intelligent enough to get away with murder. And guys, you all know this. You all know this, but this thing just kills me. It just kills me. But yes, it doesn't sound like she's intending to represent herself. She'd have to be really dumb to do that. She'd have to be just so dumb to do that, or believe that she would lose anyway, and so might as well make a circus out of it, I guess. I don't know. I hope that is not the case. Let's see if there are any other comments that I should check out while I am on here, because I need to run, as you know. What did Ariel say? It's scary to think how many people like her are out there who have gotten away with something like this. Is it Ariel or Ariel? I'm going to say Ariel. I have shared with you guys probably multiple times this week about my friend, my lawyer/judge friend, who, when she's out driving, going through the desert or going through the woods or the plains or whatever, she looks out to the side of the highway and asks, I wonder how many bodies are out there. The thing is, it's very hard to get away with the murder of a loved one. Holly says a female Daryl Brooks. Oh man, that guy was the worst. L. Shirley says, the thing about that book that hurts the most is it could have actually helped kids had it not been written by a murderer. Ugh, yeah. Laura says, she is representing herself in the civil cases now. Yeah, so, I mean, that supports my idea of indigence, that she can't pay for any more defense. Like, if she is $2.5 million in debt and all of it's tied in real estate. Now, in the state of Utah, guys, if you don't know this, is going like gangbusters when it comes to real estate. It is the easiest bet to make buying real estate in the state of Utah right now, especially on that I-15 corridor from Salt Lake down to Provo and all the way down. Well, it's really those Salt Lake Valley and the Utah Valley, because it is like Silicon Valley Junior. And then up in the Camas, Francis, Marion, Oakley, Peoa, Park City area, that is going crazy too, because of all of the celebrities and rich people that are buying in Park City, making it not affordable to live in Park City anymore. Same thing with Heber. So it's a good bet. However, this is going to bust. Anyway, all of her money's tied up in real estate. There are only so many liens that those lawyers can put on that stuff before they are not going to get their money back. So I'm guessing it is an indigence thing. They withdrew because they cannot be paid. Asking for the court to appoint new lawyers, to me, that means public defender. And I don't know if there's a public defender's office there in Summit County, or if the court can appoint private attorneys. I don't know, but that is my guess. Let's see. She should never married that made her sign a prenup. Well, listen. Yeah. Okay. I have mixed feelings about this. I would never have gotten married had somebody asked me to sign a prenup. And I would never marry somebody who would sign a prenup if I asked them. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask here. To me, it seems like you're like betting on the loss. It's like you're the Pete Rose of marriage when you have a prenup. But I mean, I have a long-standing happy marriage that we are committed to one another forever. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to be asking about that. I don't know if Eric liked fentanyl. I understand, though I don't know it's true, that Eric liked marijuana. He liked THC, but I don't know. Laura says the conflict was pretty much revealed in the civil case today. She is challenging a subpoena to a bank account that she deposited $1 million into. Ah. Oh, Laura. You are awesome. Help me out. Go over to my website, which I'm going to go over to right now. Click on contact. And if you would do me the honor and the favor of giving me as much information about that as you can, I will then look into it. And I know that Utah has that, has the digital records thing that I can look at. But if you know anything more about that, please do. Where were we? Were we here? Yeah. Please do send that my way. gavinfish.com. Click on contact. That is... Yeah, so if she had $1 million in the bank account and now all of a sudden she doesn't have access to it, that would cause lawyers to withdraw. What is Big Mountain Customs? GF. The Big Mountain in my nickname is Mauna Kea in Hawaii. I'm native to Hawaii, but I live in Indiana. I do custom airbrush work, so that's where the Big Mountain Customs comes from. Well, awesome. Thank you for letting me know about that. That is awesome. Lily Wayne, is there family that will take her if she goes to prison? My guess is that battle is already raging between KOURI's family and Eric's family. The answer to that question is yes. There is plenty of family around that that can and want to take the children, I'm sure. It's just there will be a fight about it. Let's see. Golden Spudlet. Neither of them look like people to know folks who do drugs, let alone do drugs themselves. That is, you know what? I would love Jamie and Autumn. Do me a favor. Put GF in your comment, but comment. I would love your comments on Golden Spudlet. And I don't want to give away anything that you don't want to give away, but Golden Spudlet, let's wait for Jamie and Autumn on this one because I have the same experience that you do, the same life experience as you. Well, I think I do based on your comment. I don't know, but I think that I have the same life experience as you where it does seem like the people in our lives who are using or abusing or are addicted to illicit substances, you can kind of pick them out of a crowd, right? But I have been learning that is not always the case. They did look like they were in, they had things together. I mean, I don't know somebody who's running a good business that would be addicted to fentanyl. Like, certainly, because it is an opioid and it leads to dope sickness and all that other stuff, right? Certainly, somebody who would smoke or ingest THC, I see that for sure, but I don't think you'd be able to keep it together well enough if you were using an opioid to keep your business running well. So I don't think that Eric was using fentanyl. I don't know that. But yeah, they look like family next door, right? In fact, this picture also just kind of gets me because it's just a little too precious. just a little too perfect. They've got their puffy jackets on. They've got the Hey Dudes on. They've got everything. I think those are Hey Dudes. There's, they got the designer dog there and everything. I think this family was a little too perfect. There was some issues. There were some issues happening there for sure. Tyler says she's sick in the head. Black Widower says, I think prenups are smart. Yeah. So you have a different experience than I do. But yeah, let's see. Lawyers were appointed from Salt Lake City, Summit County. Public defenders were conflicted out. Thanks for letting me know, Laura. I'm going to dig in. Jamie says, addicted comes in many forms, Spudlet, but I have never heard he was an addict before. Kelly B, I agree, Golden, but these days, who knows? Laura, it does seem to me that you are close to this case. Laura, please reach out to me on the website, will you? I'll be on the lookout from anything from you. Go to gavinfish.com, click on the contact, and I would love contact information because I'd love to talk to you. I think to me it feels like you're closer to this case, and I would love to talk to you about that. Laura also says Eric had no THC in his system at the autopsy, and I don't know how long. I don't know how long THC stays in the system. I don't know. El Shirley, did they do hair follicle tests to see if there was any fent in his system prior to OD? I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know. Let's see if Jamie and Autumn, let me go down here. Yeah, so Jamie said we read this one. Addiction comes in many forms. Addicts are in all professions, social classes, and neighborhoods. It almost always starts with prescription opioids. Yeah. That has been, I mean, Jamie, thank you for saying that. And let me just say that of anybody that I know who is qualified to talk about this, Jamie is my go-to lady. She's been an activist in our area. She cares deeply about the addicted in our area. She takes care of so many. So, and in my experience, it has been the same, Jamie, that addiction primarily starts with prescription opioids. Yeah. Big Mountain Customs. Gavin, that family pic looks just like two dope heads surrounded by kids and a dog. We may have never heard of him being an addict, I think. But as a former dealer, they look like druggies. Yeah, I mean, you guys should watch it's a fictionalized version of events, but you guys should watch Dope Sick if you never have. And then there is a documentary series that I am blanking on. But yeah, like Jamie said, I think it starts mostly with prescription drugs. Dawn says THC stays in the system up to a month. Opiates would be out in days. Yeah, with opiates, the half-life is something like minutes, right? So, yeah. Guys, thanks for joining me tonight. I deeply appreciate every one of you who come and see me. I am really, really hoping that I hear from you. Goodness, why am I blanking? Where are you? I've missed you somewhere. Laura, there you are. Laura. Hope that I hear from you, Laura, because it does seem like you're close to the case and you have some good information. So please reach out to me, gavinfish.com. By the way, while you're on the website, guys, if you want to go over to this support tab right here, scroll down to the bottom and click on Buy Mods a Cup of Coffee and hook up Autumn and Jamie, who are amazing and who do really good work here on my channel. We've been growing so much. We just yesterday reached 70,000 subscribers. I think by Monday or Tuesday we'll be at 71,000. We're just really jamming. I deeply appreciate everything that you guys are doing to help me grow this channel. Remember to head on over to the Fish Tank if you are on Facebook and you like to hang out with like-minded people who like to talk about true crime. Please do that. Don't know what we're going to be looking at next, but it's going to be interesting. So please don't forget to subscribe. And with that, I will bid you adieu until the next time. Thanks a lot and take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.